Now let's move what is left in the user controller. We need to create the find method. So let's go to the user service and here add find. I'll call it get, and we need the ID of the user. So let's copy this part. First I will do some refactoring. I will create another function, request, and I will return this part because it will be much more cleaner. This request, I will copy this and paste it everywhere. And here also. So the endpoint is users / the ID. So now that we get the user, we will return it directly here. This user service get the ID here. As we can see, the user now should be a user object, so this is a JSON. So we can change that. I will create another function. I will call it parse user. We'll pass a JSON here and we will return this part, and this will return a user. So here we'll return this parse user JSON. Also, another thing, I will add here question mark and 0 for the isInfluencer, because when it returns 0 sometimes it thinks this is null, so better keep it like this. Let's do the same for this get method. JSON here is equal to this JSON, return this parse user JSON. So now we got the user object. I'll specify it like a user, and everything should work the same, but we should add it also here. Public function show with an ID. This will return user find ID. If we test it, let's get the user number 1. So it works the same. Let's add the other fields also. We need a store. So in the user service, we will add create, and we need the data that we have to send it to the server. So it should basically be like this. This will be a post, and it doesn't need an ID. It needs to send the data. Let's go to the user controller. So the data that it needs are this data, create. So the data are this data, and this is the user here. Let's create the data. So we don't hash the password here, we will hash it in the user microservice, because this will, if we send the hashed password, it will be a vulnerability. So we will send password 1234 and we will send the data. So let's create the store now. Store request and we need to create user is equal to user create. We need to send also here the data, and the data is equal to request only first name, last name and email plus password hash make request input password. So we can add a new line to see it better. And in the end, we'll return a response with the user and response here. Let's import it. HTTP created. Let's make the put now. It should be the same, but first let's add it to our user service. Update ID and data. Copy this part. This is a put, and this needs the ID here. Go back, and the update now needs to this user service update ID, and the data that we want to send is this data. And this is a user. So everything is becoming more faster now. Let's add it here. Update. And right now we need to find the user. So we need a request here and an ID. And the user will update request only first name, last name and email. And we will return the user with HTTP accepted. And the last one is destroy. So let's go to the user service, delete, we need the ID here, and we will call only this part because we don't need to get the response. So we only need to see if the response is successful. So user controller, and we will call now this user service delete ID. Let's copy this response here, and let's do the same for the other microservice. Destroy. We have an ID here, user destroy ID here, and that's it. Also, one other thing, we have to add one more migration. PHP artisan make migration, drop foreign key for role users. So why did I create this migration? Because here in role ID, user ID, where is it? User roles, this. We have a foreign key right now, but this will fail since we were moving the users to the other microservice. So here, schema table user roles function blueprint table here, and table will drop foreign, how do we call it, user ID. Then we have to migrate. So we can do it also in the Docker container. We can test it on the browser now. We can see that we are getting all the users. I will delete user with an ID 5. And it was removed. So if we refresh, that user should not be there. And if we create a new user, so let's create a random user. And if we redirect, that means everything is okay. So we redirected, and the edit will work the same.